See this guy? Number one bullshit guy.
What's good, YouTube? This is my first ever reaction video. We are in a basement with it. Yes, we are. The grind starts here. It starts here. In the basement, talking to myself, because you're probably never going to find this video. But if you do, welcome to my channel. My name is Shah, short for Shalom. Just an aspiring kid from a state that you probably didn't even know was a state. It is what it is. Hopefully you find me entertaining. If you do, drop that follow so YouTube can please push me somewhere. Join my Discord. We're gonna have some holy shit, that's what it's called, Discord. Anyways, hope you enjoy this video. This is called Why Being a Quarterback Sucks. Yes, I'm gonna make the intro longer. Whoa, I have to talk a little bit, right? This is why it's a reaction channel. I don't know any football player who was born wanting to be anything but a quarterback. You want to be the team leader. You want to have the aura. You want to be the... Anyways, let's just get into the video, man. I almost stopped the recording.
At the rec center like you were 2004 Peyton Manning. Trips left, roll out, hit your best friend on the corner route. You dropped it every time, but you kept throwing him dots anyway, till you busted his nose with a missile on a quick slant. That was the end of that friendship. You joined Pop Warner and they handed you a helmet that was too big and a playbook that was too small. But it didn't matter, because when the ball touched your hands, you were the main character, and quickly became the talk of the town. The kid that everyone watched, who made things happen even when your teammates weren't even half as good. You weren't the fastest, you weren't the strongest, but you had...
Is this Tom Brady? Wasn't the fastest, wasn't the strongest. Anyways.
touch. And coaches will always love a pure passer. By middle school, you had the keys to the junior high team. In high school, you started varsity as a sophomore and your jersey sold at the school store. Your senior year was just a formality, but you went out and lit it up anyway. You committed early, a 5-star blue chip and one of the top...
I'm not out. I just had to pause it to say this right there. I don't know if it's possible to make varsity as a freshman, but if it is, I'm just going to think that not making varsity as a freshman is essentially saying, like, you're cooked. You're going to be cooked. Your career is going to be a little more difficult. You feel me? Not saying that every great player made varsity as a freshman, but I'm just saying that, like, in terms of hope and aspirations, you would probably want to be, you know, you would probably want to be out there. Anywho's, let's get back to the video, man.
Tradition, legacy, and most importantly, national titles. And they told you that you'd be next. But when you got there, someone else was already the king. An upperclassman with a rocket arm, a chance at the Heisman. Your coaches said all the right things. Competition breeds greatness. Iron sharpens iron. But you weren't sharpening anything. You were holding a clipboard. You ran scout team while your hometown fans begged for you to transfer. You handed off in scrimmages. The starter had his face on billboards and signed autographs after practice. You sat in the film room alone, rewinding the same 3 plays until the lights shut off. He had his pick of the Zeta girls. You had to hang with Chi Omega. You smiled through it all, said you were focused on learning. But every Sunday morning you thought about the future. 3 years later, beaten out for the starting gig again, it was transfer time. You hit the wire and watched the phone light up. 20 schools call. 4 offer instant starting jobs. You pick another one with history, but this time with a wide open opportunity. The coach tells you, we need a dog. You're him. New town, new scheme. You're named the starter. Rattle off 5 straight wins to begin. Get shut out a few weeks later, but not to worry, you bounce back.
That's good. Your ass is getting drafted. Congratulations. Obviously, if it was all that good, there wouldn't be 15 more minutes of this video.
A national championship was always out of the question, but you settle for a bowl win. Year 1 was a great success, but year 2, you become a god. 1 season as a starter is worth 100 years on the bench. Go figure. Everything feels easier, and this time, people start to notice. You throw 5 touchdowns in the opener, then 4 the week after. The numbers start stacking up, and the wins keep coming too. Suddenly, you're not just running the offense. You might as well be the state's governor. The game slows down, you hit windows most guys don't even attempt, and your teammates, they trust you with their lives. Your name starts showing up in the Heisman conversation, Analysts call you surgical, and defensive coordinators see you in their nightmares. You walk into hostile stadiums and silence them by halftime. You hang 50 on top-ranked teams without breaking a sweat. Every time someone doubts you, you bury them that Saturday. Everyone's calling it a Cinderella story, but this isn't luck. This is what happens when someone who never stopped working finally gets weapons and a shot. You light up the playoffs, break every record in the books, a championship run that was never in question. It was destiny. By the end of the season, there's no debate. There hadn't been for a while. You're the best quarterback in the country. Colin Cowherd is in love, and Mel Kiper won't stop yapping.
What could this be? Who calling my phone? Who ringing my line?
Then
man?
comes the call. A call that, honestly, you knew was coming for 4 months. So the moment doesn't hit quite as hard. But this is what you worked for, right? Your mom's crying. Your girl is praying you put a ring on it for obvious reasons. The blood, sweat, tears,
I'm playing.
the time you pooped your pants in the second quarter, it all brought you here. So you put on the hat, smile for the camera, give Roger a big hug. You can smell he's wearing Tom Ford Oud Wood. Which is weird because so are you.
Bro?
But it's showtime, so you hold up the jersey and start rehearsing answers to questions you haven't even been asked yet. Smile for the camera, buddy. You're the face of the franchise. But that franchise? Yeah, that's the worst team in the league. They won 2 games last year. Their head coach just got fired, and I hate to break it to you, but the new guy, he's even worse. And the left tackle you'll be trusting with your $300 million career, he led the league in holding calls and might just get bull rushed directly into your ACL. They didn't draft you to learn on the job. They drafted you to save them. Today. So they fuel the jet and fly you out. They give you a tour of the facility like it's Disneyland. Weight room, you won't really be needing that. Film room, you'll be needing that. Then they hand you a playbook so thick it looks like it was written by Tolstoy and say see you at 6.
That shit?
You stay up until 3 studying it. You must be ready. But you won't be. Training camp starts with a welcome speech from the head coach that includes the words culture, grit, and compete 19 times in 3 minutes. You don't understand any of it, but neither does anyone else. Just smile politely. You're witnessing insanity. On the field, every throw is analyzed under a microscope, and every drill is recorded. Every word dissected. They tell you to ignore the noise, but the noise is part of the job description. You're young, but you're expected to lead. You walk into a locker room full of human battering rams with multiple families and say, "Follow me." Your quarterback's coach is 28. Your OC changes the terminology every week. The head coach leaves practice early sometimes, and you hear rumors about why, but you feign ignorance.
The part where it sucks.
You're 22, the right tackle's 32, looks like he's been through 3 world wars, and he has to drown himself in peanut butter jelly sandwiches all day so he doesn't tip the scales at any less than 315.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store.
He does not care what you did in college. He's just tired of trying to block 3 guys at once on 3rd and long. Then week 1 hits. You throw a pick on your 4th drive. Your left tackle gets beat clean. Again. And you take a helmet under the chin that leaves you chewing blood. The sideline taps you on the helmet. Good rep, they say. You lose by 16. The press conference is awkward. You're asked if you're overwhelmed. You, of course, lie and say no. By midseason, you've lost 6 of your first 7 starts. You've thrown 9 picks and been sacked 28 times. You're seeing ghosts out there. Not because you're soft, but because you play for a poverty franchise. Remember? One week it's quick game timing routes. The next it's 4 verts and pray. One game you're getting called the future. And the next you're not progressing fast enough. You're doing everything you can to get better. But with every mistake...
my bad, I just hit my mic. But what I mean to say is that, like, I guess in that sense, you really have to look at the fact that, like, when you're the number 1 pick, like they just said, when you're the number 1 pick, you're getting put into the worst team of last season. So you really have to be insane. Like, you really got to be a maniac to be, like, the best pick, going to the worst team, and then bring that team up. That's really what legends do. Legendary, oh my gosh, Shador. Anyways, but sorry for hitting my mic again. But really, like, that's what it is like, as the number 1 pick, you are expected to be that legendary. Not to downplay how heavy or difficult it is, you know? But you gotta be that. You gotta do that. You gotta know that as the best, you're gonna get put with the worst. Unless somehow a good team loses early for some dumb reason. I'm turning this shit off.
You But you keep your head down. You stack wins, throw for 300 yards, lead game-winning drives, walk off without celebrating. Because, if you smile too wide, they'll find a problem with that too. You go 12-4 as the starter, best QBR in the league, near the top in every meaningful stat. They say he's efficient, but he's not the reason they're winning. He's a product of the system. Just has great weapons. Like you didn't still have to make the throws. Like you didn't just go into enemy territory and light up the same defense that bullied quarterbacks all year. You have one bad game, missing your left tackle, your wide receiver 1, and your starting running back. You go 14 of 31 with a pick, and the headlines the next morning, is this who he really is? He got exposed. You cannot extend him for $60 million a year. You can win all you want in the regular season, but you won't get the credit that's due.
Remember that? He just said 16 fucking million a year. And the video is titled, look down at the bottom. The video is titled, Why It Sucks to Be a Quarterback. What more do you want than 16 million a year? Let me know, please. I would rather be a failing quarterback making 16 million than be me. I'm a YouTuber with 6 subscribers and no views. I make no money off this, bro. What are we even talking about? This is cap. This is... Don't piss me off, bro. Resume the video.
They say you're a game manager, as if managing the game isn't almost the entire point of your position. You keep answering questions like you're on trial, staying calm through every passive-aggressive critique, shaking hands with people who trash you in their weekly articles. You know they only want to see one thing. Now you're in year 8. You've made the Pro Bowl 3 times, received MVP votes. You've put up numbers most guys would kill for. Won the division 4 times, led the league in comeback wins, you name it. You've become one of the guys at the position. But the playoffs, that's where things start to crack. One year you get outdueled, the next you just couldn't score. One time your defense gives up 48. Doesn't matter why, you didn't win. You know the questions have changed from, is this the year, to is the window closed? You used to be the future. Now all of a sudden, you've wasted your prime, held the team back, and are far too expensive for what you bring to the table. You've already played the best football of your life. You watch younger quarterbacks get crowned when there's nothing they've done that you haven't. Talking heads rank you 10th behind guys who don't have any more playoff success than you do. You're still only 31, but they talk about you like your career's in the rearview mirror. You're still putting up numbers. Not career highs maybe, but 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns.
Get this guy the fuck off the airways, bro. This nigga right here, he needs to go. He needs to go. He's old.
11 picks? That used to mean something. Now it just means you're old. You miss an off-platform throw that you would have nailed when you were 25. Now you're cooked. Washed. Should have retired 3 years ago. You throw a pick in week 13 and it trends on Twitter because, my God, where did all the zip on your ball go? You used to be a magician, escaping sacks, launching bombs across your body, doing the impossible every Sunday. Now to attempt that would just be reckless. Your mechanics are falling apart, and your leadership certainly doesn't hit the same. You're on every debate show, but never in a good way. Should they cut you?
Yeah, he's talking specifically about Aaron Rodgers, bro. Hang up the jersey, bro. Let it go, Aaron. Just let it go. You did your thing, bro. You did your thing, big bro. That's all I'm saying.
Trade you? They can't possibly bring you back, right? What you've done to this franchise? It's reprehensible. You can still sling it, still see the field well, make some throws now and again nobody else even tries, but good luck getting credit for that when you're 3-10. Not at your age, not with your resume. You're not being judged against the league anymore. You're not even worthy of that. You're being judged against your younger self, and he was nearly perfect. The fans who used to defend you are now the ones making memes. The same ones who called you a god now say you're stealing money, you're a burden, and the game does not love you like it used to.
He's going right for his throat.
You know it's almost over. You feel it in the morning when you get out of bed. You used to bounce back from games. Now it's 2 days before you can even jog. Your arm's fading. You don't say it out loud, but you can feel it every time the ball flutters out late and wide. That rickety shoulder has a lot of miles on it. Your coaches say, You've still got it. But it's in that tone. Like, what are you? 5 years old? They're still starting you, partly out of respect, partly because they don't have anyone else. But the whispers are getting louder, that the game's passed you by, that the team's just biding time until you're gone. Would you hang up the cleats already? You say the right things in the interviews, talk about how much you still love the grind, but the reality, the 12,000 hours in the film room, 20 hours a week on the trainer's table, you're just about over it. You limp through the season, a strained calf here, a bruised rib there, and even worse, you just threw your 4th pick of the game and got benched for a guy who couldn't hold your jockstrap in your prime. You were single-handedly sinking the team, and the media is saying this is how legends ruin their legacies. You certainly don't make the playoffs, not even close. It was obvious to everyone that this was the last pathetic run, but there's no farewell tour. Just a quiet retirement a few weeks later, a few tribute videos, and more tweets than you can count saying, hell of a career. You watch the playoffs from home once again, see the new player they're hyping up, getting twice the love with half your arm. He makes a wild card game and they call him the next big thing. How many times did you do that? You walk away with everything. Yards, touchdowns, Pro Bowls, except the one thing they use to measure true greatness. You have to leave without a ring. And eventually, they stop saying your name out loud. On the bright side, you won't be bored in retirement.
I mean, fuck it, bro. Because, like, you did your thing. You went out there, you put up numbers. There's going to be people talking about you. You're going to have some small fan base. But, you know, you're just not going to have the fan base of people who want rings after rings after rings, back-to-back rings. Like, you're not, and it's okay. You made your $16 million a year for like 10 years, bro. You're set for life. Well, worry about that. Family, kids, ever heard of those? The fame isn't what's the most important. I think we're getting hooked on the fact that like our name needs to be remembered for something. It's okay, bro. History isn't for everyone. We're not all gonna make history, but what do you have? You have a great family, hopefully. You have long money. Long money. That's like 16 million a year. What could you be doing with that, bro? Like, what could you possibly need to spend all that on? You all you do is play a sport. And you're making 16 mil. Not to downplay what sports are, but like you're getting paid the big bucks. You played the sport, and it's okay if your name will be in the history books. You'll get a small chapter, but it will be in the history books. And you're just stuck on like making your name bigger and bigger and bigger. That's low-key selfish. There's other things to life. You made the money, bro. You should be set and happy with where you're at. I think that's what I think. It doesn't suck to be a great quarterback. It may suck to be a terrible quarterback, like a QB2 that just never sees the light, because your QB1 is just an absolute god. But I don't know, bro. You should be all right.
Now you're blessing America with your color commentary. You're calling the Super Bowl now, not playing in it. Get real. Just sitting in a booth with a mic clipped to your collar, narrating someone else doing what you never could. That guy on the field is 26, 5th year in the league. He throws 2 touchdowns and rushes for another. You say the right things, that he's playing lights out, performance for the ages, and you mean it. Mostly. As he raises the trophy, you smile into the mic, sign off, remove the headset, and sit there quiet. Because you played 14 years and did everything except that. But you know what?
And that's okay too. Because at the end of the day, you're a talk host, probably a commentator or something, on an important thing. And you're still getting paid the big bucks. I don't really see it. I gotta call this video cap. It don't suck if it's like that. Like I said, QB2 that never gets to touch the ball because your QB1 is a god. I understand it. But you're a QB1 and you did amazing and you made your long money. You made that schlong money. Pause. Yeah, bro. Don't complain about nothing, bro. Get the fuck out. But that's been the video, man. I don't know why I did that. I don't know if that's gonna be our outro or not. We're going to find out, chat. Peace out.